Hey, what is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking a look at the Ms. Marvel Omnibus Volume 1, as you can clearly see here, and the cover that was used here is the cover for issue 3 of the run. Here is the spine of the book. Let's please note that it does have a Volume 1 on it, and we haven't received a Volume 2 yet. And here is the back of the book, which says, "Make yours, Ms. Marvel." Check out the super cool sketch wraparound here under the dust jacket. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Before we go any further, let me tell you what this book collects. This collects G. Willow Wilson's amazing Ms. Marvel run, and that is issue 1 through 19, all new Marvel Now .1, Ms. Marvel's story, and material from Amazing Spider-Man 7 and 8. Alright, so you're probably asking, Ryan, why are we going over the Ms. Marvel Omnibus today? Isn't this book out of print? Yes, you're correct. It is very out of print. And two, I don't think it's been slated for a reprint of any kind yet. My main reason for doing this today is to spotlight this story because I think it really is a phenomenal run. And I want to get interest in this book so that we can finally get a volume 2. It's amazing to me that they didn't drop a volume 2 or at least a reprint of this volume when the Ms. Marvel TV show came out. But as Ms. Marvel's popularity rises, I have some faith that we'll get a Volume 1 reprint sometime soon, and a Volume 2 announced shortly thereafter, but maybe I'm just optimistic. Regardless, if you haven't read this story, I just want to put it on your radar because, like I said, it really is something special. And you might be able to hunt down the omnibus. If not, you can get it in trade paperback or you can read it all on Marvel Unlimited. So for those who don't know who Ms. Marvel is, she's a teenage Muslim superhero who is super fun and super relatable as well. In fact, this book reminds me of the character arc Ultimate Spider-Man went through, sort of being a teen and trying to balance powers, responsibility, schoolwork, friends, and parents. Now, of course, Kamala does differ in some ways, like she is more tapped into the cultural zeitgeist than Spider-Man was in that run, which is done really well here, actually. Sometimes I'm not the biggest fan of that, but I don't know if I've seen it done a lot better than it is here. But she's also nerdy, she deals with being introverted, she's got some fun little aspects to her that are unique, like she writes fan fiction. She's really in love with Captain Marvel. She thinks she's awesome, she thinks she's so cool. She really looks up to her as a role model, which also is kind of nice to see in the Marvel Universe, just the impact of all the heroics that goes on. So again, for those who don't know though, when it comes to her powers, she is an Inhuman, and they had just released their Terrigen Mist in New Jersey, which is basically an activation method for Inhumans. Like if you're a dormant Inhuman and you are exposed to the mist, then your powers or abilities start to manifest themselves. And that's exactly what happened to Kamala. And her power set is kind of interesting itself. I would define it as shape-shifting, although it's maybe not as conventional shape-shifting as, say, Mystique. Although my understanding, and she does it in the inception of her powers in this book, is that Kamala can do things like that. She can become someone else via her powers. But she more so often uses it to make herself thinner, make herself bigger, make herself taller, make parts of her smaller, make parts of her bigger, and biggin, that's a catchphrase of hers, so on and so forth. There's some really creative uses of it in this book. And she's even more relatable in a way too to us comic book fans, and if you are here watching this video, I assume you're a fan of comics, otherwise, what are you doing here? But Kamala is practically a Marvel stan herself, except they're real figures in her reality, but she just loves the superheroes so much, and then she becomes one, which is interesting. She was from the outside looking in and admiring the world of superheroics, and now she is a part of it and has to sort of figure out her place within it. If you watch the Disney Plus Ms. Marvel series, there is a lot that's different in this book, but there's also a lot of similarities. So if you enjoyed that, I think you will certainly enjoy this too, and Kamala herself is essentially the same character. Now, I'm going to mention here a slight spoiler for episode 6 of the Ms. Marvel series, which, by the way, I've not gotten around to yet. I watched the first 5 episodes, and then I never got to the 6th episode, so I need to watch that. But I do know the big spoiler of it, and that is that they reveal Kamala, at least they imply her to be a mutant. That is not the case here. That may have been the original intention of what the writer wanted to do, but canonically in the 616 universe, she is, right now at least, it could change in the future I guess, not a mutant. So I don't know if you really care about that, but if you were expecting like this to be a mutant book, it is not. In the future though, if they do retcon that, I am gonna have to move the Ms. Marvel Omnibus off of my other bookshelf and put it on my mutant bookshelf, which will be fun. I kind of doubt that will happen though. I feel like they would have done it already. But who knows, maybe there's a big Miss Marvel event coming that we don't know about. Alright, back to me singing some praises for this book because it really is a good read, guys. Like, I highly recommend it. I know it looks like a book that might not be for everyone and it might not be something you would normally pick up, but trust me when I say it is a lot deeper than it looks. It gives off sort of a cartoonish, vibrant vibe to it, which really works for the book, actually. I love the art style, and it really, really helps elevate Kamala's character. But don't let that dissuade you. There are nuances here. This is a complex story. There's a lot going on with the characters, and what I really, really love, and you don't see this in every comic book nowadays, especially for non-superhero characters, is that G. Willow Wilson put a lot of effort into fleshing out the family of Kamala, her friends, her peers. Everybody in this book is their own distinct character, and you can really feel that, and it makes the world feel more alive, and it makes the story feel more alive, and in turn, it makes Kamala feel more like a real person, which helps us again with the relatability of it. It also just really taps into a lot of emotions. I mean, this book is funny, it's poignant, there's romance in there, there's a little something for everybody. There's also a lot of nice superhero team-ups and cameos. We get Spider-Man in here, we get Wolverine in here, which is a pairing I really, really like with Miss Marvel, and they just did it again recently in a Miss Marvel and Wolverine little mini-series thing that they're doing. They also did Moon Knight and Miss Marvel. Those are good. I recommend those for anybody who's looking for more Miss Marvel comic books to read. But yeah, the kind of grumpy, hunter Wolverine is just really fun when it's contrasted by the more jubilant spirit of Miss Marvel. And she's a fangirl, so in a lot of these instances when she meets big superheroes, she's like, oh my god, it's Spider-Man! Oh my god, it's Wolverine! She even gets the opportunity to meet her idol in this book, Captain Marvel, who, they say never meet your idols, but if your idol is Captain Marvel, or, if you're like me and you got to meet Chris Claremont, then that's pretty cool. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. But guys, I also encourage you to read this because it's just cool to read a book that is different from a protagonist that we normally get. The book's kind of frankly just also semi-educational if you're somebody who hasn't maybe been exposed to many Muslim characters before or even real people. It's good for that. Alright guys, if you've read this run, please let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. If you're interested in picking this up, I'd also like to hear that as well. Like I said, you can read this on Marvel Unlimited if you want to just give it a taste, maybe even, or you can go find the trade paperback, which I think is in print really, really often because it sells exceptionally well. So Marvel, please give us a Volume 1 reprint of the Omnibus, and then give us that Volume 2. Thank you guys, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. More videos coming soon.